So what is going on, people, and welcome to another video on the channel. And today, well, I did my Premier League and Championship predictions. I said I wanted to do more content like this, and well, we're going to be kicking it off today. As I've said previously, I study sports journalism at university, so I like to discuss all things football, whether it be friends, whether it be fellow students, other people that are in the world of journalism, let's say. But also, everyone loves a discussion topic online. And the thing I wanted to talk about today was Gareth Bale and going back to Spurs. Now, obviously, it's emerged in the past couple of days that it seems to be that a deal has been agreed, more or less, for Gareth Bale to go on loan to Tottenham. Obviously, he, that's where he spent his Premier League career. He moved to Real Madrid in 2013, I believe, but then I think it was certainly a record sale for Spurs. It was 85 million or so. And to start with, he was absolutely tremendous in La Liga. He scored goals, formed a partnership with Ronaldo. He's won a number of titles. He's won La Liga. He's won, 3 Champions Leagues, maybe more. So it's certain to say that, although his time in Spain has maybe been marred by, his love of golf, for example, being called the alien as well by the Spanish press. It might have even come from the Real Madrid players, actually. But nevertheless, it's undeniable that Gareth Bale is a phenomenal talent. Although, he didn't have the greatest season last season. His powers maybe not sort of, dwindling, but, obviously a fractious relationship with Zinedine Zidane meant he didn't play that much last season. He played 16 games in La Liga and scored 2 goals. I know he's had his sort of battles with injury as well. So, it's not been a great time for Bale. Obviously, lots of speculation about him leaving. But the one thing I wanted to look at is, one at Gareth Bale, obviously, but 2 also at Spurs, because, Spurs had a horrendous start to their season. They got beaten by Everton. It was a really poor performance. Much people expected them to be, well, we knew Everton had strengthened and we knew they were going to be a good side, but we expected Spurs to be at least a bit more competitive. And they just offered nothing. They looked slow. They just looked disinterested. And they just looked like they didn't, want to play. So, Bale coming into that team, any team in the world would love to have a player like Gareth Bale. I mean, he's not exactly a spring chicken anymore. He is 31 now. He's getting into the later stage of his career, maybe past his prime now. I'm sure, like I said, any club would love to have a player like Gareth Bale. So I think he will make a massive impact. Obviously, he has that connection with Spurs, so it seems like a good fit for him to go back there if he's going to go anywhere. I'd love to know what the finances are in this loan deal. But, so if we have a look at Spurs, the main question I wanted to ask really was, and the sort of the point of this video, is Gareth Bale what Spurs need? I mean, like I said, I've said it a couple of times. Any team would love to have Bale, but is that really what Spurs need? I mean, you look at the squad, I've got a soft spot for Spurs. My dad's a season ticket holder at Spurs, has been for a number of years. So I've been to see them play lots of times. I suppose you could call them my second team. So I do know a bit about Spurs. You go through their squad. They've got Lloris is the number 1 goalkeeper. I'm not going to lie, I personally haven't rated Lloris for a little while now. I think, he's getting older. I think he's in the midst. He's either just signed or is going to sign a new contract, I believe. But yeah, I don't think Lloris was the keeper he once was. He's been at Spurs for a long time now as well. And they brought in Joe Hart this season to compete with Gazaniga to be number 2. I don't think either of those are going to step up to number 1. So I would say that Spurs probably need a new, very good keeper. You look at the back line as well. Obviously, they brought in Mac Doherty. I think it's a good signing. And I think Aurier is a good enough backup. They need another left back. Obviously, Mourinho's alienated Danny Rose. I thought was a decent player. He's one of them. He's either an 8 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10 with Danny Rose. Every time I've seen him, there doesn't seem to be much in between. But, he is, very well liked by the Spurs fan base. He's been there for a long time. But yeah, it looks like he's sort of being pushed out the door, which only really leaves Ben Davies. Now, with the Gareth Bale deal, it seems to be that the Real Madrid left-back Sergio Reguilon is going to be joining Spurs as well. I think that's a really good signing. I think he's, a really good young player, can stay at Spurs for a long time and really establish himself. So I think that's a good addition and something they need to address. But also in terms of the defence as well, they lost Jan Vertonghen this year. They released him, his contract come to an end. I think that was a mistake. Vertonghen is, 33 now? He's signed for Benfica, I believe, now. But he was massive, massive in the dressing room, was a really good player. The Spurs fans adored him as well. So many people upset to see him leave. I agree he wasn't the player maybe he once was, but still could offer something. So if you look at centre-back, Spurs have got, Alderweireld, Davinson Sanchez. They see, Dyer seems to be converted into a centre-back now, even though he's not brilliant at it, let's be honest. And, they've got the likes of Foyth knocking around as well, Tanganga. They need another world-class centre-back to partner. I think Toby again, is similar to Jan. He's not the player he once was. I think he's still got something to offer. Sanchez, I think, has got potential. He's one of them, again. He can either be brilliant or awful. But I think Sanchez's redeeming factor is he's quick. So, yeah, Spurs need, like we said, the defence. They've brought in Doherty. If Reguilon comes in, that's a great signing, but they need another centre-back as well. In central midfield, they have options, but again, no standout players. They've got the likes of, Lo Celso, I think, is a great player. I think he's better off playing sort of in behind Harry Kane as opposed to deeper. I think he's better off playing in that number 10 role. So if we look at other centre midfielders, they've got Moussa Sissoko, who has really transformed over the past couple of seasons. He's not quite where he was. He was god-awful for a long time, and then all of a sudden something switched, and he became a really good player for Spurs, but his form's just sort of declined a bit. Harry Winks come through the Spurs Academy, very much liked by the fan base. I think he's a decent player, keeps the ball moving nicely, but again, he's not a standout talent. Who else? Ndombele, I really liked Ndombele. Obviously came in last season, started the season under Poch. His talent is undeniable. I think the question mark is over his fitness. And Mourinho, there was lots of reports last year that he didn't get on with Mourinho, that Mourinho was trying to force him out the door. He may still well leave, we don't know. But Mourinho certainly doesn't favour him. I think he needs more opportunities, because I think he could really flourish. And I'm trying to think who else they've got in central midfield. They let Oliver Skip go on loan. There's probably more people that I'm not thinking of, but again, they brought in Højbjerg as well, of course, from Southampton this year. So, there's no real standout player. I mean, Winks, I wouldn't say he's a ball player. I mean, that's what he is, but he's not, he's sort of a pass it sideways kind of guy. Sissoko, he's lots of energy, more like a box-to-box. And Højbjerg as well. I mean, he was okay at Southampton, and Mourinho obviously likes him, saw something in him, and he was awful against Everton. So I think, Spurs need a really good central midfielder, if not two, to be honest. I think the weird thing about the Bale thing is, Spurs are fairly blessed with wingers. They might not be the best wingers, but on the day they can really perform. Son is he has proven time and time again how good a player he is. Lucas Moura, he's not, prolific, but he gets goals in important games. He pops up at the right moment. They've got Steven Bergwijn, who came in last season, showed flashes of brilliance. I think he needs to settle in a little bit still. He's not quite performing where he can do, but he's young, so he's got time to improve. They've got Lamela as well. I hate Lamela. I don't think he's good at all, but a lot of Spurs fans seem to like him, and he has his odd moments, but I don't think he's that good at all. So they've got decent winger options. As we said as well, attacking midfield. Lo Celso, I think, is a really good player. They've got Dele Alli as well, who, Dele Alli is a mystery in himself. He was unbelievable for a couple of seasons, and then I think he just got to the point where he believed his own hype, and he's just not been the same player. I think he just needs to get back to basics, concentrate on his game. Because he can be a game changer. He can be a match winner just by himself. And it's really sad to see that he's not the player that he was. And then, up front, that's been Spurs' Achilles heel for a long time, Obviously, they've got Harry Kane. He's a world-class striker. I would class him as a world-class striker. When he's fit and then he's in form, there's not many better out there, to be honest. But, you know, Harry Kane being fit is a rare thing nowadays. You know, he picked up a big injury last season, came back post-lockdown, and he scored a few goals, but he didn't look the same player. And, you know, even for England before the season started and against Everton, he just doesn't look at it still. I don't know whether there's a lasting injury there or he's just, you know, being forced to play because he's so important to Spurs. But Spurs, you know, they're crying out for another striker. If Kane isn't on it, they've got nothing else, no alternative. You know, they were linked with Callum Wilson. I think that would have been a great signing. Obviously, he's gone to Newcastle. I think there was a bit of rumours about Sorloth, who was at Palace, going there. Mourinho was asked the question, but it looks like now, I saw something today that he looks like he's joining Leipzig. So that's probably out of the question. So, yeah, I think, you know, Bale could arguably operate up top. Son could operate up top as well. I know he played there a bit in pre-season, but I see him more as a winger. And Bale, I think, as well, is probably more of a wide player, but he probably could play up top. So, you know, Bale, like we said a number of times, I'll say it again, he's a great player, but I don't think he's what they need. And he's going to cost them a lot of money, you know, money that could be spent elsewhere. It's a fairy tale return. I'm sure most Spurs fans will welcome him back with open arms, but is he really what Spurs need? Be interesting to see how he does in a return to the Premier League should everything go through. He's due to fly into London tomorrow as I record this to sort everything. Apparently he's had a part of his medical in Madrid already. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But, you know, I could be wrong. You know, this could revitalise Spurs, but, you know, it could just be a big fish in a you know, ever growingly, that's the wrong word, like the pond. I was going to say big fish in a small pond, but I feel like Spurs' pond is getting a little bit smaller with the way they're going at the moment. But I could be wrong. You know, in my predictions, I predicted them to finish 5th. And, you know, I'd love for them to finish that well, but it remains to be seen. So let me know down in the comments, what do you think? Is Gareth Bale the answer for Spurs, or am I right? Am I right in thinking that they need to address other problems? Let me know what you guys think, whether it's in the comments or, you know, message me on Twitter or something. I'd love to have a conversation with you guys about that. Drop a like on the video for me, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I am aiming to get back into the WWE stuff soon as well. We're coming up to a pay-per-view and that stuff takes a long time to record, but, you know, I was quite eager to get into videos like this, so, you know, hopefully you guys enjoy this sort of thing. But like I said, pop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.